I would say the most common question I get, or that I see in these games, is who should I be farming first? What teams should I be building first? Which heroes teams, which villains teams? So what I'm gonna do is, in this video, I'm gonna talk about the heroes teams that you should be farming and putting together first. And then shortly after, I don't know, another day or so, we'll get a villains video out for you guys, because you're going to be creeping up on the villains campaign as a new player, and you're going to be wondering who you should be building and farming for that. So today, we're going to be talking about heroes. Now, real quick, if you play this game on your phone and you would like to play it on PC, or you're wondering how I'm playing on PC, there's a link in the description where you can download this game on BlueStacks and play on the PC, and I love it. I try to avoid playing these games on my phone at all costs. After playing games on BlueStacks, so be sure and go check that out if you're interested. So I had this on villains, I think. No, we're just scroll down. Yeah, so let's talk about some heroes. And the game is going to start you off with Spider-Man, okay? And he's fine. You can put some resources into him. He's going to be decent for a while. He's got some nice little AoE. He's got some crowd control. He's got good chance to dodge. He's got a lot of fun stuff going on. He's going to carry for a while. He's decent. As far as who you should be focusing on to put together to help you push through the campaign, the Heroes campaign content, as well as getting mileage out of them everywhere else. And I touched on this in my beginner guide if you saw that, but if you didn't, then if this is your first time hearing this, this is the team, okay? This is a really good beginner team, and I've been gone for a while. I played this game a while back. I've been gone for about a year, it feels like, and I think some things have shifted a little bit. The defenders don't seem to be getting the same respect they were getting back in the day. And maybe power creep has had an effect. Maybe there are some teams that have surpassed them, certainly. I just feel like to take away their usability, to pretend like they're not good anymore, just seems unfair to me. So I'm gonna make my case for the defenders here as your first team, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about what to focus on after you've got a defenders team established, okay? So you're gonna get Luke Cage fairly early on as well. I believe the game gives you Luke Cage. So I think you start out with Luke Cage and Spider-Man. Now, if you ever need to find where to farm a particular hero that you don't have, you can come into your roster and you've got this sorter here. So you can sort all kinds of different ways, and you can set multiple filters to really hone it. If you need a defender and a controller, for example, you can do that. Now, if at any point you want to start over, all you have to do is click all. You don't have to go through and find all the check marks you've made. I feel like that's important to mention because I spent a lot of time doing that. a lot of unnecessary scrolling when I was new. So you can just hit all, it'll undo your whole filter, and then you can scroll back through, okay? But let's say, I'm sure there's someone, so this is a good example. It shows you everybody you have, and it shows you who you don't have, okay? It shows you everybody that fits that. If they're in the game, it shows you that they're there, whether you have them or not. So that's important to know, because you can still click on them and click find and figure out where to get their shards from, okay? So let's go back to defenders, and let's talk about these guys. So Iron Fist, we'll just start at the left and work our way over. Iron Fist, I have to rank him up to show you where to find his shards. Screw it, we'll do it. I'll explain why I didn't do that before in a little bit. All right, so if you go to his shards and you hit find, you can get them from premium orbs, legacy orbs, milestone orbs. You can buy packs, gamma raid orb, and then the Nexus 1-9. Now the Nexus is a little bit into the game, so it's going to be a little bit before you can really go hard on getting him. But as soon as you can, he's in the first part of the Nexus, so it's not so bad. So as you push through, he's someone that you're going to want to be focusing on, okay? He's a good healer. He's got pretty solid damage. And one of the things about the defenders is that they have a lot of synergy with each other, okay? The big thing in team building in this game is synergy. It's really, there's very few heroes in this game you can get that just totally change things, that you can put anybody on a team with them and they're going to be amazing. There's very few examples of that. So it's really all about the synergy that heroes have with each other, okay? So he's offering some sustain with his passive here. On spawn, heal self and defender allies for 30% of his own max health. Heal additional city hero allies for 10% of his max health. On turn, 40% chance to heal self and defender allies for 30% of his max health, and heal additional city hero allies for 20% of his character's max health, and then gain 5% damage for each defender ally. So he's getting damage for every defender. He can heal himself and defenders, and then city hero allies. Now, the defenders are all also city heroes, okay? So that's on his passive. That's on every turn. He's got a 40% chance to heal the team that much. It's a pretty beefy little heal. It's nice that he gets it on every turn. And of course, you have to skill him up before it gets to that point, but he's got a passive heal, okay? Got some damage. He's got some interesting stuff going on. He's a good member of the team, okay? Next, we have Luke Cage. Now, he's going to be your tank. He's your taunting tank. I talk about the term taunting tank and how to structure a team in a video. So I'll card to it in that top corner of the video. If you would like to go check that out, get that tabbed up, and then maybe after watching this, you can go watch that video and learn about how to place your champs and what to keep in mind when you're putting a team together, because I think that'll be pretty beneficial as well. But Luke Cage is basically here to be your tank. He's got some self-sustain as well. He puts defense up on himself and death proof. He applies defense up to all defender allies for 2 turns. He is very tanky. He can take hits really well. I don't know why I clicked that twice. Bring It On. He puts taunt on himself and 2 regeneration, and he can clear debuffs off of himself. So he's got some self-sustain here. He's pulling damage into himself, but he's also kind of taking care of himself here. He's got the max health per defender. So again, you see more synergies coming into play here with the other defenders. The more of them you have on your team, the better they're going to do for you. So he's your tank, okay? Next, we have Daredevil. He's a solid damage dealer who, in my experience, is pretty tough. He's good about taking some hits as well as dishing out some decent damage. He's got some good chain attacks. He is a really fun member of the team, in my personal opinion. He's got chance to bonus attack with his main if it's a villain. He's got the throw baton, which can chain. If someone dodges, it breaks a chain. We talk a little bit about chains as well in the team building video. He applies 2 counters to himself and all defender allies. Again, you see the synergies coming into play. Attack primary target for 370% damage, change to 3 to 4 adjacent targets. So if you're hitting far left or far right and everybody's alive and nothing's gonna break that chain, he can, in theory, chain through the whole team, okay? Especially once you get him powered up. He's going to be hitting a lot of people. And then enhanced senses, self and defender allies gain 5% speed. This is applied after any character has taken an action. Gain 5% dodge chance, 5% dodge chance per defender ally. Again, there's a lot of synergies in the defenders team, and none of them are really hard to get. I think Iron Fist might be the hardest of the bunch to get. He's still not that hard to get. Daredevil you can get in the arena store. Luke Cage you're going to have straight out, and then I believe he's got a node fairly early on in the game. Blitz supplies and Heroes 3-3, so it's not too hard to get to Heroes 3-3. So once you get up there, you can start farming him directly. In the meantime, be hitting Blitz, getting up that shop currency. You can farm some shards for him from there. Not too hard to come across. And then we have Jessica Jones, who is a very cool little support hero. She's definitely an important member of this team. She's got just, kind of a basic attack here, but each attack has a 50% chance to generate ability energy for herself or a random ally. Her A2 clears negative effects from self, clear 3 negative effects from all allies. You are seldom going to find yourself in a situation for a large portion of the early game and a lot of the mid game where your whole team has more than 3 negative effects on them. So she's, for all intents and purposes, for a while, a full team full cleanse with this ability, okay? She also generates 1 ability energy for each defender ally. Generate 4 ability energy for random allies. So when she's on a full defenders team, this skill's doing some work, okay? Rejection, she gets an attack and she strips positive effects. Again, you're not going to be in too many situations where the enemies have more than 3 positive effects on themselves for a while. You will start to encounter it more and more as you play, but for a while, she's going to be basically a full strip. And an extra 100,000% focus for this attack, which I think basically is just their way of saying it's not going to miss. It's not going to not strip those effects. And then Denial, gain 30 resistance, 30% resistance. Defender allies gain 30% resistance. Additional city allies gain 20% resistance. Other additional allies gain 15% resistance. So that's just a passive that she has that again synergizes well with defenders. And as far as getting your hands on some Jessica Jones shards, she's in Villains 2-9. So as I said, we're going to put out a video soon talking about villains, which ones to be farming and what teams to be putting together earlier in the game. But again, not too hard to get your hands on these guys if you're playing actively. You're jumping in, doing your dailies, participating in your raids, doing what you can in Blitz, doing what you can in Arena. You're going to find that it's not really that hard to go after all these characters, okay? So Defenders team is a great first team. Now, again, Spider-Man is a fine 5th member of this team. Let's back out. He does have some city synergy with him. And again, he's your starting character, and it's Spider-Man. I mean, you know, we all love Spider-Man, right? He's got chance to evade. He's got chain with his A1. He's got another chain attack here. Apply defense down to each target for 2 turns. Defense down can be pretty handy for the other people to put some damage in. And it's kind of, it's like a mini AoE with the chain. Tangled Web, apply stun and slow. So not only do you take someone's turn away from them, you make their attack meter fill up quicker. Slower, which means they're going to be stunned for longer. It's just, it's kind of insult to injury, right? You're already taking away their turn, but now you've slowed them down, so they're going to be that way for longer. They're out of the fight for longer. And then Spidey-Sense, gain 20% dodge chance. Pretty handy. It's really satisfying when he dodges, especially something that would have really messed him up. So Spider-Man's a great 5th member of that team. Another great 5th member of the team. There's 2 more I'll talk about here for that team that you could be going after. Where is the homie? I must be going blind. There we go. The Punisher. Punisher is a really, really good 5th member of that team. I am a fan of the Punisher. He does not have defender synergies, but he does have city synergies. And you saw basically everybody on that team, on top of having defender synergy, also had city synergy. So let's take a look at him real quick. Attack primary target with damage and piercing. 30% chance to chain up to 2 additional targets. With also piercing as well. If he gets counter-attacked, it will break the chain. He's got grenade launcher here. Attack all adjacent enemies for 140% damage. So we talk about adjacent. Again, a lot of these terms, if you're not familiar with what they mean, I go over a lot of this in the team building video that I put out yesterday. So again, I've carded to that. If you want to go back and tab that up for after this might make a little more sense if you don't know what it means. But it's basically another kind of mini AoE. Fully loaded, attacks all enemies. It's pretty good damage. It's just a pretty good AoE attack, and it's fairly straightforward. And then lock and load. If at least one ally is a city hero, gain 10% chance to assist on non-attack abilities. Gain 10% chance to assist on non-attack abilities per defender ally. So again, you put him on a full defender team, we're talking 40% chance to assist on non-attack abilities. So when Iron Fist is healing, when Jessica Jones is cleansing, when Luke Cage is taunting or putting defense on himself, you know, the whole team has these kinds of abilities, which gives him an opportunity to attack or assist when they do it, you know. If Daredevil is an ally, when an enemy attacks him, attack that enemy for damage and piercing. Now, there's no chance here. That means if Daredevil gets hit, Punisher's going to shoot them. That's the way that works. Gain 10% damage. Gain 50% damage against villain targets. City allies gain 5% damage. City hero allies gain 10% damage instead. City hero allies gain additional 30% damage against villains. So you see, there's a lot of synergy here. There's a lot of benefit to having Punisher on the team. Not only is he bringing some damage, he is a blaster. He's a little bit squishy, but between Iron Fist healing, Luke Cage defense buffing, Jessica Jones cleansing, they can do a pretty decent job of protecting him if the team is set up in an efficient manner, and he's not a bad option at all. Last one I want to talk about for this team, I think she's a little harder to get your hands on. You may have to wait a little bit. Mystic 2-6. I don't even remember how I got her. I know they've changed a lot of this stuff up. I don't remember how I got her, but she's such a good member of the team that I have to talk about her because I use her instead of Punisher on my Defenders team. So let's talk about her. Let's look over her kit and figure out why she's so good with that team. Okay. Her first skill is very straightforward. Just gain deflect, attack a target. Rejuvenate. Heal self for 17,000 health, 50% of her own health. If her health started below 50%, she also slows herself with this. So it's a very beefy heal. If she was less than 50% heal, the punishment for using it is that you put slow on yourself with it. But it is not really that big of a deal because it's such a good heal. Third skill, attack all enemies, return at damage, 40% chance to generate 1 ability energy per target hit. Energy is granted to random hero allies. Okay, and then her last one is Fangirl. 80% chance to gain assist now on each hero brawler ally's turn. On turn, 80% chance to grant assist now to a random hero brawler ally. When a hero ally drops below 50% health, gain taunt. If that ally is a brawler, also gain 2 defect. So I know we've looked at this and it doesn't say anything about defenders. So why does she fit in so well with a defenders team? You may be asking. Let's take a look at something real quick that a lot of these guys have in common. They are brawlers and they are heroes. He's a hero, brawler, hero, hero, and then I think Punisher, if you wanted to do some synergy there, I think Punisher's a brawler. I mean, a blaster, actually. So she gets really good synergy here with Iron Fist and Daredevil, okay? She's a really cool 5th member of that team. She is so annoying. She is such an annoying member of that team to deal with as an enemy. Let me find her again and pull her up. Because when a hero ally drops below 50% health, gain taunt. This gets really frustrating to deal with because when someone drops below 50%, you're kind of getting into that territory where now you want to focus them. You want to get them out of the fight. With her doing this, it pulls the attention. Every time you take someone below 50%, she pulls the attention away from them. So if you can't get rid of that taunt, then you give the rest of the team time to take care of it, to heal it back up, to cleanse whatever needs cleansing. There's time to deal with it, right? And she's fairly tanky. If it's a brawler, so if it's Iron Fist or Daredevil, she's also going to gain deflect, which means now she's taunting, everybody has to hit her, and she's sending damage back at them, okay? She's also going to assist now on hero brawlers. It's just really annoying. It's this taunt thing that is really, really frustrating to deal with in a team like a Defenders team where there's so much synergy and there's so much playing off of each other and they do such a good job of keeping each other alive and complementing each other. She's a really cool 5th member of the team. So I just wanted to talk about her. So I would say go for your Defenders. I think that's what you should be focusing on. And then Punisher, Spider-Man, Miss Marvel, they're all solid 5ths for the team. And I think they're good. And now let's talk about why I think they're good. I think that they're a solid arena team for a while. Maybe as you're transitioning into end game or even late mid game, maybe they won't be quite as effective, but they're a solid team. And if you're in the early game, going against other people who are playing this game who are making their way however they are, if they're not watching content or if they're just trying to figure it out or wing it and they're just throwing what they have in there and what they build, they're not going to be prepared for a Defenders team. There's a lot of it's a very hard team to deal with. So I think early game arena, as a new player, you've got some effectiveness here, okay? They're going to be fine for your challenges where you can use them. They're going to do really well for you in the campaign. If they're a decent arena team, they're a decent blitz team. And then you've got your alliance raids, and they're a really good alliance raid team too. You got Iron Fist healing, Jessica Jones cleansing, Luke Cage tanking, taunting, and taking care of himself. There's some pretty good sustain here. They can do some work in raids for a good long while, okay? So I'm not telling you to take everybody up to tier 14 and, you know, level 75 or anything, but, you know, you can put a decent amount of resources into them, and by the time you outgrow them, you will have been playing long enough and done enough things that you'll have a pretty good understanding about what you should be focusing on, which direction you should be moving. Now, that said, the other really popular team that I hear getting talked about a lot lately is a Guardians team. And I think that a Guardians team is a little bit too hard to build first. Okay, you 100% want to be working toward this team. You want to be getting Drax and Groot and Rocket from the raid shop. Rocket's in the raid shop. Everybody else is, Drax is in the arena store. I think Groot has a node now, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think you can also get him from a shop. No, he just has a node. Nexus 2.9, so a little bit harder to get. And I think Gamora, maybe, is in a Blitz shop? Blitz shop, yes. So be working toward them for sure. I think building them as a first team is going to be difficult. I think getting Rocket is going to be a bit of a project. Getting Groot could be a bit of a project. Drax and Gamora, not so much, but certainly be working towards it, because once you have Star-Lord, he's a great character. By no means am I knocking a Guardians team, or even saying that it's wrong to say this is one of the first teams you should be going for. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I feel like defenders are catching some disrespect lately, and I don't think it's fair. So my recommendation would be to build a defenders team. I think that's the easier route to take, but definitely be working on a Guardians of the Galaxy team as well, so that when the Star-Lord event rolls around, you're in a situation to scoop him up and have a legitimate Guardians team, because they are a fantastic team. Again, another team you can use everywhere, basically. So that's my recommendation. That's an in-depth look at the main team I think you should be focusing on first as a new player. But keep in mind, as you're able to expand a little bit, do start working on that Guardians team at every possible turn, because again, you don't want to miss that Star-Lord event too many times. You want to be able to do that as quickly as you can. So keep that in mind, work towards it. But I think a defenders team is an excellent early game team. I think you can take them pretty much everywhere in the game, and they can be effective enough for an early game player. Even mid game, I'm still using them. I still use them in raids and blitz, and I definitely get some mileage out of my defenders team still. So I have no regrets at all of any resources I've ever put into them. So that's it. I hope that this helped you guys. If you have any questions, drop them below. If you've been playing for a little bit and you have some advice you want to drop for anybody watching this video that might be newer, that's great. If you've got some ideas for some beginner teams or particular beginner heroes that you think people should be going after, leave that in the comments below. Again, I'm all for more information in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up here. Villains video will be coming out soon, so be on the lookout for that. You know, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff, you know, helps me out. But that's it. I'm getting out of here. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you later.